Hey people, D-Man here, and today I am reviewing My Hero Academia Rise of Two Heroes. I think that's what it's called. Or Heroes Rise, no, Heroes Rising. That's what it's called, right? My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. The second movie of the franchise so far. We don't know if there's going to be any more. I don't know if there is or not. But man, it was damn good. Okay? I'm gonna do spoiler free, then spoilers. I'll tell you when I'm doing spoilers, but first, spoiler free. So, first off, let me say that there is no end credit scene. So, if you're waiting for the end credit scene, don't just leave. There's no end credit scene. um, okay, so how to talk about this movie without spoiling it? So, it's not as good as the first movie, or the anime, or the manga. Okay, it's not as good as those. Those are like up here, and it's like right about there, like a little bit down. Um, it's not as good. Okay, so without spoiling it, um, it's kind of slow paced to be honest. At first, it's kind of slow paced, and then at the middle point, it kind of goes like over paced. How do I explain this? Okay, so at first it's like kind of slow and gradual, and then we get to see like clips of the certain someones here and there, and you're just like, that's interesting. And then it gets like it gets to the point where it's just like, okay, now it's a little bit too fast. It gets to the point where it's just like, oh, okay, now it's like dun 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 dun, and we're done. It was kind of weird. I feel like they should even it out more, to be honest. But I guess whatever. In my personal opinion, it was kind of slow paced, and it was just like, room. It was like that, I was like coming to a crawl, and just speeding off. The plot was slightly predictable, especially if you saw some of the spoilers, which I did, sadly. But it was slightly predictable because you knew what was going to happen pretty much. Well, you didn't know what was going to happen, but you knew the end result, obviously. Um, there was some bullshit at the end there, and I'll talk about that in the spoiler section. But there's some bullshit in this story. I don't know why, but it's just bullshit. um, the villains, not gonna spoil them, but the villains' plan, the villains' plot, the villains' like whole thing why they're doing this. It's kind of just an average villain plan. It's just an average villain plan, to be honest. It's nothing really special. It's just like, really? That's why you're doing this? That's kind of lame. um, what else can I say without spoiling this? Uh, the animation was pretty good. It was actually better at some parts, but then it was just kind of like weird at some parts. Like there was a couple parts where it was kind of weird. There's this one part where Bakugo and Deku were standing there, and they look like weird little stick people, kind of. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but the animation was pretty good. It was actually better than the normal animation for the most part, but there were some parts in there where it's just like, that looks weird. You know what I mean? It was just like, that looks weird. Why does that look like that? Like at one point, Deku kind of looked really buff, and then he looked like a twig, and it's just like, what? At least to me, that's what I could see. Anything else without spoiling it? No, not really. I can't really say anything else without spoiling it. So it was pretty good. Would I suggest going to watch this movie? If you're a big fan, I definitely suggest. But if you're just like a fan, probably just wait till it comes out and just like go watch it. Just watch it on like TV at home. But if you're like a super big fan, yeah, sure, go out and find the release. Luckily, I had one release right here, right close to me, so I got to see it. But yeah, if you're a big fan, go watch it. If you're not, just wait till it comes out. If I were to rate this 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, 5 being just average. I don't remember how I rated the first one. I would rate this about a 7. It's above average. It's pretty good. It's not like oh my goodness, I gotta watch this. It's just like, that was pretty okay. That was pretty good. Could have been better, but it was pretty good. Okay, so now spoiler alert. Okay, guys, spoiler alert. If you watch past this, you're gonna be spoiled by me. Okay, spoiler alert. Okay, so let's start off with the villain plan and why it's so like a regular plan. So it's like a what do you call those? I forgot the word. um, a plan that you see over and over again. God damn it. Whatever. Predictable. That's what it is. It's a predictable plan. Basically, he's just like, I think people with superpowers that are strong should be on top, and people with superpowers that are weak should be on the bottom. So basically, strong should rule, weak should drool. Weak should be underneath the strong and powerful, which is why he went to the doctor to get all these enhanced powers, knowing that the doctor was just kind of using him for his own purposes. But yeah, he wanted to be a king among the strongest, and he had some pretty ridiculous powers that were pretty overpowered. And at the end, he kind of turned into like a. It kind of reminded me of a Naruto villain slash Dragon Ball Z villain. Because at the end, he's just like his powers overbursted, and he's just like, "I am a Super Saiyan now that cannot be stopped." It kind of reminded me like of a Naruto villain slash Dragon Ball Z villain, like when they're at the ropes and it's like, "Okay, time to show you my true power." It's kind of ridiculous. Okay, so now let's talk about the bullshit part. Okay, so Deku gives Bakugo hit one for all. He uses it to its full extent, and he's just like, okay, now my flame's going out because he could feel it going out inside of him. But somehow one for all goes back to Deku, and Bakugo forgets about that whole fucking encounter. It's just like, what? It's like, what? Wait a minute, what? Bakugo has one for all, and his explosions with one for all are like, oh my goodness, like holy shit, he could probably explode a whole mountain if he went like full out. It was fucking ridiculous. Like he was melting the ground. It was gigantic. Like with one for all, his explosions were like 10 times bigger. It was fucking crazy. It was pretty badass too. Uh, but yeah, like Bakugo was just like, you have to accept that you're gonna lose one for all. You're gonna be normal again. He's just like, yep. So Bakugo and Deku's relationship in this was pretty good, pretty good. I do like that. But at the end, Deku gets one for all back somehow, unexplainably, and Bakugo and him just kind of go on with their lives. And I guess Deku never tells him that he gives him one for all, or maybe he did. I don't know because they never specify. But I'm pretty sure he never told Bakugo that he gave him one for all, which is kind of ridiculous. Which means if this is canon, it might not be. I guess they might change some stuff and be like, oh, that wasn't really canon. But if this is canon, that means that One for All might pop up in Bakugo eventually. Another thing, the villain could not steal Deku's quirk because he can only steal 9 quirks. That's why she's called 9, because he can steal 9 quirks. So he can't steal Deku's quirk because it has too much quirks in it, which is like another fact hinting towards like, hey, Deku has multiple quirks. If you haven't seen the manga yet, yeah, that's a spoiler, but he has multiple quirks. And it's pretty ridiculous. But it doesn't mean that his quirk cannot be stolen. So someone like one for all's Deku's quirk, one all for one. Someone like All for One might be able to steal his quirk, maybe. I'm not sure, and maybe even Todoroki. No, that's the flame guy. Maybe the evil guy. I forgot his name. I'm drawing a blank here, guys. But maybe the evil guy, after manga spoiler again, after he goes through his kind of trials, he's gonna be able to absorb quirks. Maybe we don't know yet. But maybe he can steal Deku's quirk, so that might be something. And maybe Bakugo will pop up with the quirk. I don't know. It'd be crazy. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to see that he can't have quirk stolen, at least not by just anybody. He was after this quirk that was like basically like gene manipulation, because he needed to manipulate his genes to make his quirks fully usable, which was interesting. It was just like, okay, that's a reasonable explanation why he has to go after these people. Although they never explain how he knows about these people at all. All they're just like, oh, he has eyeballs that can see, and he can see people's quirks with his eyeballs. And I guess he randomly stumbled upon them or somehow looked it up in a book or online or something, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird, kind of dumb. It's just like, really? Not going to explain that? Um, his companions, one was super weak and got taken out just like that. It was kind of funny. One was okay. She was okay. She was pretty strong, but she kind of disappeared at the end. We don't know exactly what happened to her, so maybe she'll pop up in the actual show eventually. I don't know. Maybe Nine will pop up again too. She kind of disappears, and we assume she gets crushed by rocks, but we don't actually know. And one gets frozen by Todoroki because he freezes him because this guy was literally like a beast, like a monster. He was like super powerful. He had laser plus fire coming out of his mouth, and he could like punch, and his power was super powerful, dude. And he's like, let me show you why people called me a monster. It's like, dude, people wouldn't call you a monster if you use that power for good. You could be like a great hero, but people call you a monster because you're an idiot. But yeah, like if his powers were meant for good, he'd be like one of the top heroes because he was like super overpowered. Like flames didn't work on him, ice didn't work on him. He was just like he was basically like All Might, just a little bit weaker, and with a laser that came out of his mouth. Slash fire. Laser slash fire. Ridiculously powerful. He almost looked like a Nomu, but animalized because he had a bunch of animal parts. It was crazy. And it was awesome looking. And if he was like one of the main characters, that'd be pretty awesome. um, what else? What else to say? Oh yeah, the two main kids. The girl is kind of an asshole because she doesn't want her brother to become a hero, but at the end, her brother does want to become a hero. Don't know how he's gonna become a hero, but he's gonna try. But she doesn't want him to become a hero, so she tries to fool the heroes into helping them and tries to show her brother that heroes don't actually do anything. And she's proven wrong. And I think she might have a crush on Bakugo. I'm not sure, but she's always saying Bakugo when the other kid's always saying Deku. It's pretty cute. She's just like, Bakugo, he's like, Deku, because he obviously aligns more with Deku, and she obviously aligns more with Bakugo because she's a little bit of an asshole herself. It's pretty cool, it's pretty cool. So Bakugo has one fan at least. Well, two, I guess. I guess they both like Bakugo, but she likes him more. So he at least has one fan, or two. um, Unless this isn't considered canon, which it might not be eventually. But let's see, what else? So at first, you wonder why they're at this beach resort. Basically, there's a hero program where it's like, hey, heroes are dropping left and right, and since All Might's gone, like villains been rising up and up. So we're trying to do this like live at like hero on site with students, which just sounds really really fucking stupid, but they do it anyways. Even though UA's been attacked multiple times, but whatever. We're just gonna throw all that logic out for the movie. It was kind of stupid, but I was just like, okay, I guess that's a logical explanation. Not really, but whatever. So they all went to this island, and they were all just there to be heroes for the hunters because no one thought they would be attacked, even though they got attacked before. But whatever. Toss logic out the window for this movie. The movie was very slow at first. I'll be honest. Like it was like a bunch of like town scenes, like, oh, like these people are nice and we're helping these people and yada yada yada. And then like halfway through, it's just like, oh, the villains are here, and now they're badasses, and we only get like a few seconds to realize what they are. We don't even get to know what everyone is. We get to know what Nine's plan is, and semi what the Beast guy did. Like Nine saved him somehow. We don't actually know how. At least I didn't see how, but he saved him somehow, and he's just like, hey, follow me. And we don't get to know anything else about any of the other characters, which was really stupid. And it was kind of rushed. You see what I'm saying? It was just like really slow at first, like slow and gradual, which was kind of boring to be honest. I was just kind of like, seriously, come on, get to some action here. But then it was just like, hey, here's the villain. Here's the villain's lackeys. We're not going to tell you anything about them. He just wants to take over the world and make it into strong versus weak. So yeah, that was basically it. It was very weird. I don't know how he thought he was going to be able to take over the world because he thought he was super powerful. And I guess he was because they needed two One For All users to defeat him. Again, Deku getting One For All back at the end, which is really stupid. But whatever, I thought Bakugo would give it back to him or something like that, but no, he just gets it back somehow. I don't even know if you could give it back. Do you think you could? You think if Deku gave it to someone and they could give it back to him, you think Deku could give it back to All Might? That'd be crazy. I wonder. But it is weird. It is weird. It is just like, what? What? But yeah, pretty good nonetheless. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and share. I probably didn't hit everything, by the way. There's probably some stuff I missed. I know there probably is. Because it was like almost a 2-hour movie, so probably some stuff I missed. But yeah, pretty good. A 7 out of 10. Link down below to my Twitter. Hit that bell notification. And as always, my friends, stay sane. Peace.
I will eat you, and you will be in my belly. You will be the urchin. Or perhaps it will be reversed. I don't know. But all I know is that it's delicious.